I have created a lot of custom experiences in Minecraft, and most of them can be found in my theme park, Percy's Park. And often I take you, my dear viewer, along on my journey in creating these experiences. And it's occurred to me that I don't really tend to show you the technical stuff, like I do tutorials on my channel where I show you technical stuff, but when I'm figuring things out, I don't really tend to show the technical side of it. Today we're changing things up a little bit, and I am going to show you the process of creating a new experience in Minecraft from start to finish, including technical stuff. That being said, I have already started this one. Let me explain. Over here, this area in Percy's Park has always been a little bit empty, and you may notice I've put a little blob over here. This will be our canvas for today. I figured that before I start this video, I might as well sort of have an idea of what it's going to be about, and so I already put down the blob here. As for what we're going to do, we're going to make what I like to call the Colourful Cascades over here. The concept here is very simple. Every frog light that you see is going to have a pressure plate on top. Whenever the player stands on it, it's going to trigger a sort of fountain water up into the air, if that makes sense. The twist, of course, is that they're going to be very colorful. So why don't we get started developing this, shall we? And for this, it's best to have an empty inventory, so bye-bye, balloon. Whoosh. Now to make this happen, we need to make some decisions. I want particles to come out of here, and I want them to go up, and then I want them to come down again. That part's important. Now I can sort of program a thing that will go up and then go down, but I much prefer using something that's already built into Minecraft. Something that already has gravity, so we only have to shoot it up and it will come down on its own. Something like an armor stand is perfect. What's happening here in this catapult, I'm summoning an armor stand with some momentum, and gravity and Minecraft takes care of all the rest, really. So that's really cool. We need to do exactly this thing. Whoosh. Now to get started, I'm just going to quickly grab a command block over here. We need to test if it works. I've copied the command that summons the armor stand from there, modified it a little bit, so we can just paste it in here. You can see it has motion, and I never really know what any of these numbers do until I test it. Something that we do need to do is we need to make it visible, of course. So let's activate this and see what happens. There we go. That summoned an armor stand that just went whoop. So clearly the motion over here is a little too much. We just want it to go up, which I think is just the middle one. Oh, it needs to be 0.0 apparently. Yeah, there we go. And we take this away as well. Let's see what happens if we summon one in now. It just goes up. Okay, that's good. It might be going a little too far up, but we can change that by just changing this number. Let's just change it to 1 and see what happens. Much better. I like that much more. Yeah. This is really cool. We now know that the basic function of this whole thing is going to work, which means it's time for me to implement it into the data pack. Whoosh. All of this here is the Percy's Park data pack. There is a lot of stuff going in. Now the Colourful Cascades, I've already made a folder for it in Park Experiences. It's going to be part of Park Experiences. And I've already set up a tick function for it so that when we summon it, it's going to execute everything that we'll put in here. And in this tick function over here, I'm just going to let it say hi. That way we know that it works. I've also created a summon function, and so here in the command block, I'm putting in the summon function. And so when I press the button, we should see it say hi. Okay, there we go. It's working. It's all set up now. Cool. It stopped saying hi. Yes, it did. Now it's time that we figure out how to make it look like there's water coming out. And I figure we can do that with a particle function. So let's fill that in. There is falling water. There we go. I think this is the one that we're looking for. Let's go see if this works. There you go. That kind of looks like water is falling out of it. Oh, let's get rid of them. There is, however, one issue with this. And that is, as I've said, I want it to be different colors. And we cannot change the color of this particle over here. So I guess we'll just have to use a different particle for it. Now, because I am super lazy, what I'm going to do is going over into another experience in the park. And for the sake of it, let's just make it red. And we're just going to copy this command over here. There we go. We can get rid of this, I think. That should be good. Let's go save this and see what it does. There we go. It sort of does look like something. I figured this is the time where we can make the armor stand actually invisible so that we can see the particles a little better. Only we can't get rid of it now anymore. That's annoying. Well, it is supposed to get rid of itself, so let's work on that right now. We just want to do execute if predicate park general. I've already set up a predicate for this. I'm using this in a lot of other experiences as well. So this is just something that exists in my park. So if the armor stand is on the ground, then run, kill itself. And that I think should get rid of it once it hits the ground. Let's go see if it works. Reload. That is not getting rid of itself, is it? So one thing to test and see if this works is just copy this command, only we have it say on ground. No, it doesn't do anything when it's on the ground. Okay, so this won't work. And I've just realized that is because I'm a little bit of a dum-dum. Look, I've put this in the summon function, but not in the tick function. This is where it needs to be. Reload it. There we go. Okay, it is working. I just put it in the wrong thing. Let's see if it works. There we go. That's cool. It works. That's nice. I don't really like the particles though. I was hoping it would be more. So one thing that we could do is copy this and then put it one block below, and we should get more particles that way. Already I think this looks a little bit better. I like this. This is good. So this is where the experimenting comes in. Where I'm just going to try and put a whole bunch of commands and see what works best. So let's try this. Oh, much better, much better. Okay, this is cool. And it does all appear to be working, which is really nice as well. Now, one thing that's very important, of course, is this is supposed to activate when you step on a pressure plate. So let's grab a pressure plate, the birch one apparently. Because one thing that I'm a little bit afraid of is that when it lands, it activates itself again, which then would make a loop, which is not what I want. So let's see if it would do that. Yeah, so that's exactly what I did not want. This is kind of cool though. It's not what I want though. So we're just going to get rid of this. And then we need to find out a different way to make this work. So a slightly different approach to this is if the block below the armor stand is not air, then it kills itself. Let's see if this works. Well, of course it wouldn't work. This is not air, and so it's never going to work. Okay, we need to offset everything then, I think. So if we summon it just a block above, see if that works. It doesn't appear to, because this block itself, of course, is not air. So we're just going to see if we can offset it by 2 blocks. There we go. That does seem to work. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? Now only the particles aren't in the right place anymore, but we can offset those too. So this will be -2, this will be -2.5, and this will be -3 then. Let's see if this works. There you go. Now that's kind of what I wanted. That's really cool. You know what? Honestly, let's go see if we can implement it right away right now. Over there, pressure plate. Now this is of course 1 block below even further. So we're just going to execute this 1 block above. And so now that should work. This is really cool. Yeah, I like this. Now of course, we are not yet done with this. You may have noticed this is all very white and it's very bright white. I thought something fun that we can do is have it make a little splat just before it dies. Does that make sense? We can color all of this. Now to do this, what I want to do is create a new function called splat. So this is what's going to happen whenever it splats. So where it would have killed itself, it's going to instead run this function. And as part of this function, it's going to kill itself. So it should still act the same. Look at that. That's what I thought it would do. Only now in here, in the splat function, we can put other things. So what I've done here in the splat function, once it splats, it's going to fill an area around itself with red concrete, and it's going to replace concrete. So it can replace any kind of concrete here. I created a tag list for another experience, and this has all of the concrete on it. And so that way we make sure that it only replaces the concrete and not, for example, these quartz stairs over here. So let's go try it out, shall we? That didn't do anything, did it? I might have not done the numbers right. Let's go see about that. Of course, everything is offset by 2 and I only did it by 1. Let's go see if this works now. There we go. That appears to work. And you can also see it didn't change the frog lights or anything. Okay, this is cool. And cool as it is, I don't think it's quite what I want. To me, this doesn't really look like a splat. More than anything, it just looks like a square. Which is, it's not what I want. So we need to figure out something else. And I kind of have an idea for it. Let me work on something. Whoosh. Alright, so what I've just created here, when it splats, it's going to summon a new armor stand. For now, it's going to be visible still. And it's called Colourful Cascades Splat. And once it's summoned this, it's going to spread that armor stand using the spread players command. Basically around itself in a max range of 5 for now. We'll mess around with the numbers. And it's going to spread the armor stand that we've just created over here. So basically this armor stand should end up in a random location with a max radius of 5. Let's go see what happens. Reload, stand on the thing. Oh, there we go. And it's put it on a random location. Let's try that again. Okay, max range, maybe a little bit too far. But for now it looks good. I do think it's kind of what I want. Even though it's a little too far at times. We'll just lower this to 3. Let's go see if this works. Wait, that is much farther than 3. What just happened? 1, 2, 3. Oh, maybe it is close enough. I don't know. Yeah, maybe some will just shoot out a little bit further. I think it's fine. Okay, I think this is actually fine. So what we want to happen is execute, add, and then this armor stand, which by the way is no longer within a distance of 1. So we'll make that 5 just to be sure. Now what we want to do then is set the block below to the red concrete. No, that's a banner. Concrete. However, we don't want it to do that if it doesn't already have concrete below it. So if block, and then we can select the same tag again that tests for all the concrete. So only if the block below it is concrete, then it's going to change the block below it to red concrete. I think this should be good. Let's go see. Okay, that's working. And that's also working. That didn't seem to do it. I don't know why. I'm guessing it's fine if it works most of the time. I think that one went to the exact same spot. Yeah, there you go. Having it look for this entity a couple times in a function is kind of inefficient. So we want to make it its own dedicated function. What should we call it? Splat armor stand. Should indicate that this is about the armor stand that makes splats. This is kind of misleading now, I think. We'll continue to work with it and figure it out. Right, so I've just moved the commands that were here into here for the splatter armor stand. And I think we can test it, see if it works. It does still seem to be working, so that's good. I don't know why it's not... It's sometimes just not changing the concrete though. Well, that is not supposed to, so that's good. Yeah, sometimes it's just not doing it. Let's reset this and see if we can monitor it a little bit better. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing it. I wonder why that is. I guess it's debugging time, so I'm disabling this command that just fills the area around the initial splat. That way we should see if everything just a little bit better. That's not doing it. That's not doing it. That's not doing it. That is also not doing it. Okay, it's absolutely not doing it at all anymore. Oh, I know why. I know why. I ran into the same issue with the butterflies. So this armor stand splat function is being executed at the location of the newly summoned armor stand, right? And so when it's testing for the block underneath, it's testing at the original location, but it's getting spread here. It's not looking for the new location, so we just need to do add as, and that should fix it. I hope anyway. Let's try it. Well, it doesn't work, of course, if it goes there. There we go. Oh, it's working. Okay. That was the issue. We figured it out. Look at that. It's working. This is nice. Now I need to make sure they kill themselves. Kill add as. There we go. Suppose the issue with getting rid of them is you can't see where they land anymore. It is working. It's just hard to see. There we go. I think we may want to limit where they can go a little bit more. And so for the max range, I'm just going to fill in 2. I think that's a better idea. We're going to enable this command again, and we're going to make these invisible. Even though we couldn't already see them, it's just better to have them invisible in case something goes wrong. So now that we have this, I want to do this for all the other frog lights over here. But here's the thing, I want them all to be a different color. And that means that we're going to make a few changes. One of them being over here, summon red. We're going to make a new function. I haven't made it yet, but it's going to be this. Nope, it turns out that I lied. I'm going to do it differently. It's going to be more like this. And then where we summon them, I'm giving them an extra tag with the color that they are. And then in the main tick function, I'm just making them execute all their ticks if they have the specific tag. So for red, it'll be red, of course. For orange, it'll be orange, and so on and so forth. Time to make sure that it still works. And it sure does seem to still work. That's great. So now all I need to do is copy this and paste this. Call it orange. Change everywhere it says red for orange. And then test it. It does not appear to work. Which makes sense because I was smart enough not to copy it over here. Let's go try it again, shall we? Oh, there we go. That did something already. There you go. Look at that. It's working. So when we go over this one, it makes it orange. When we go over this one, it's red. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? That's what I wanted. Now to do it for the rest. Let's see if it works. That's yellow shooting out, and there we go, we get yellow splatters. Oh, look at that, that's cool. Lime. There we go, that seems to work as well. Perfect. Light blue is working, really cool. And blue should be in as well, there you go. See if magenta works. There you go, nice. Purple. Look at that, really cool. And finally, pink. Look at that, we've got a really cool thing now that we can run over and through. I'm missing them all in third person, but it would have been really cool. I'm debating changing some of the colors. I feel like these two switched would make a little more sense. Or actually, these two switched would make a little bit more sense. And the beautiful thing in the way that I set it up, we can easily switch them. And they should automatically just change the colors that are there. Look at that, it's cool, isn't it? Oh, I like it. There is nothing like that feeling that you get when you made something you really like. Whoosh. And so this is usually the moment that I reflect. I've got the basic functionality, everything is working, I'm really liking it. Something that I'm noticing though, I don't really like the colors too much. This is very colorful, which is cool. But over here it blends into the same sort of color. I want it more wild, I guess. Alright, so I've messed around with it a little bit. I think I'm kind of happy with it the way that it is now. I've properly looked up how rainbows work, and I decided to get rid of the pink and instead just have it finish up here with red, and I'm really happy with that. And now you can run on here and get all those particles, all the colorful thingies. Look at that, that's nice, I so love it. I do think I messed up the particles though for purple. They look the same to me as the magenta one does. Oh yeah, there we go, much better. That's different now. Cool. Whoosh. I sort of figure we need an action shot of me running through here. Let's go! This is so cool! For developing these things, I'm using a mod-free environment to make sure everything works properly. That's why the chat bar is down there. Whee! Whoosh. Yes, I do play around a lot with my experiences just after I've made them. This, what I've made so far, is of course exactly what I had in my mind, but there is nothing like experiencing it when it's actually there. And so you have to play around with it to figure out if what you've made is actually as fun as what you had in mind. That balloon card does not know what it wants to do. And so I've just made a few tweaks and changes to this. Some of them you can see. Let me walk you through them. First of all, in the splat function where we summon the additional splats, I've now made it so that it summons 3 of them. And so the additional splats that fall out there are 3 of them, and so there's a bigger chance of them actually splatting somewhere. Also, I've expanded the radius in which they spread back to 3. They seemed a little bit limited with just 2. Finally, what I've changed, and this I can actually show you, is if you step on them, if they land, they play particle commands. So they really make a splash there. And I feel one thing that is still missing is sound effects. There needs to be a splash of some sort. And of course for sound effects we'll be using the play sound command, and typically what I'll do if I want to have sound effects, I just look if Minecraft itself already has something. So I want to have a shooty sound. Let's see if this sounds cool. That's not really what I want. I want a shooty sound for when it comes up and a splashy sound for when it lands. So I'm just, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through this. The breeze may actually be a good one for this. No, that's not really what I'm looking for either. Typically what I'll do is I go through this list, typing in words that sort of represent what I want, and then trying them out and see if they work. Whoosh! And that's exactly what I've done now. Look at that. Or rather, listen to it. That's kind of cool, isn't it? The sounds that I have, by the way, here in the summon function is the sound of the wither shooting. However, I have lowered the volume a little bit and the pitch is up all the way. This is what it normally sounds like, right? We'll recognize that sound. But if I up the pitch a little bit, it sounds like that, and I think it's perfect for what we want here. The other sound that I've used, the sound of the splat, is the sound of the axolotl splashing, which sounds awfully specific, but I really like this one. And so now players can walk over this and they'll hear the sounds. I think it's really nice. Splatch, splash, splash. I absolutely love this. And this, I think, is a pretty good look into my process when I create these things. All the steps that I go through, how I go through troubleshooting the issues that I run into. I hope that you've enjoyed this closer look into the back end of how I do things. If you enjoyed this content, please let me know. I'm really curious to hear your feedback on this type of content. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Okay, one more time just because it's fun. Yeah!